Say hi to Janet right
Hey, everybody.
over there. I always forget which way the people are on my screen.
You're kind of froze up on
Oh
mine.
no, I'm gonna stop it. Oh, I'm gonna stop it. I'm froze. I gotta fix me. I gotta. No, you. I'll fix me in a minute. You know what? You can do the Bible verses
Okay.
because,
So you just
anyways,
want me to
Janet
read
is
it?
working today at the. What's it called again?
Prairie Wind
I
Estate.
always have Prairie something and it's in Swift Current area. It's always Prairie something. So Prairie Wind Estates is the place we're working today, and she's got a Bible verse for us. Well, I fix myself. Go ahead.
Okay, Bible verse for today is 1 Peter 2, verses 9 and 10. And it says, and I'm reading from the Message version, it says, "But you are the ones chosen by God, chosen for the high calling of priestly work, chosen to be a holy people, God's instruments to do his work and speak out for him, to tell others of the night and day difference he made for you, from nothing to something, from rejected to accepted."
Wow. And the funny thing is, there's a lot of passages in the Bible where we're really only talking about the Israelites, or especially the Old Testament, and people claim this one's not talking about the Israelites. This one's talking about us,
That's right.
100%. So yeah, good stuff, and a great reminder. And what is a priest? Someone who goes between God and others, right? So hey, that's everybody in ministry, including you.
That's
So
correct.
and now you've been in Swift Current for what, 10
Oh,
years?
we've been in 13,
13.
13 years.
I was subtracting Regina for a year, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
which time? Which time of Regina are
Oh my,
you subtracting?
yeah, and then Meadow Lake before that. Is that was there anything in
Yeah, yeah,
between? Okay, yeah,
yeah. Meadow Lake. We came from Meadow Lake.
and involved in
Yeah,
ministry there with was a
the Door of Hope.
yeah, the Door of Hope ministry. What a great ministry.
Mm,
And then
mm,
brought you here, and we've had many different sort of things going on in your life. I know we've got one child and one husband,
yeah,
and between the three of them, you guys have been able to be madly off in all directions. But now God's landed you there at Prairie Wind Estate. Did I say it right this time?
estate. It's
Estate. There's
just
only
one.
one
Yeah,
estate. Okay,
that's right. Yeah.
and working in this in well, and also you guys are this is a seniors home, I guess technically seniors home.
Yeah.
Is that what we
Assisted living. Assisted living
Thank you.
facility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never quite used the right terms.
Yeah.
And of course, during this time of the virus and stuff, that's been a very stressful environment. So, anyways, maybe we'll touch on that first, and then we'll go back a little bit. So, talk about
Mhm.
your current working situation and ministry situation.
Yeah, so Prairie Wind Estate assisted living facility for seniors, Christian ministry. So we're moving more and more into that direction
Oh,
all the
right on.
time. Our roots are Mennonite for sure. So it used to be owned by the Mennonite Conference, Saskatchewan Mennonite Conference,
Oh,
and yeah, so a couple of years ago, actually, when I started, they approached our board and said, "Hey, we don't want to do this anymore, and so we'd like to donate the assets to you."
mm-hmm.
So we created Prairie Wind Estate, and they donated the assets over to us, and now we're moving forward, trying to make it the best senior facility in our Southwest area.
When did that
And
happen?
it's we became Prairie Wind Estate in April 1st. We started operating April 1st, 2018. So
Okay.
we're just our second year,
Oh, so
finishing up our
that's
second.
relatively recent then. Wow.
Yeah, it was a good process.
Yeah.
But so in saying that, like our board of directors, our leadership of our organization are all Christians.
Mm-hmm.
We have a process to come onto our board, and you need to have a journey of faith. You need to be, have Christ as your Lord and Savior.
Mm-hmm.
So it was similar. Our values are all based in Christian, and staff are expected to live those values.
Mm-hmm.
Though all our staff are not Christian at this point, it's a mission field, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's kind of how we look at it as well. So ministry of care and a kind of a mission field for folks who don't know Christ yet.
Right. And during this, have you guys had to be shut down during this time? No visitors or anything like that? Or how's that been going for you guys
Yeah,
there?
so March 9th, we went on lockdown, so
Right.
no visitors. It's kind of like it's almost like a twilight zone. You come through as staff, we are the only risk to the folks
Right.
here
Right.
because we are the ones that come and go.
Right.
So our facility has nothing in it that's harmful. So we come into the facility, and it's you walk in the door, you're sprayed down with this disinfectant, your shoes like that, and then everything you bring in is disinfected. Your temperature is taken. You need to do a checklist to make sure that you haven't been anywhere and you don't have a cough and blah blah blah. And then you sanitize your hands, you enter, you put on a mask. So we wear masks all day long, and we kind of look like this. And so it's, and as seniors who may be watching this, and people, it's a bit of a difficulty in the communication part. And but we can't lapse on that, because we certainly don't want to bring it in. So yeah.
Well, and when you look around the data and stuff, the really only serious places were in assisted living places. That's where problems happen. General population, not so much, but for sure places like that where folks are already either older and frailer or else have other issues. Yeah, that's been the thing. And when the government said, "Oh, if you get sick, we're going to send you to nursing homes or assisted living facilities," that was a really bad idea.
But I feel that one of the benefits, and I give kudos to our government for the way that they manage that for assisted and long-term care, because we're one of the last provinces, right, to have a positive case of COVID-19. Right. And so they were able to see around what other provinces were experiencing. Sure. And they shut us down immediately, so to protect our folks. So it was really, really good. It's getting a bit tiresome, but yesterday they did announce that we were permitted to have outside visits with people.
Oh, very good.
So residents will at least be able to see there's no touching, and we're going to have, it's like almost feels like a barricade so that there's no touching and stuff. So if that happens, then folks need to go into isolation for 2 weeks. So,
well, have you seen any depression elevations during this time?
We try to keep folks engaged and involved. But some of our onset folks, for sure, that struggle with onset dementia or Alzheimer's are struggling a bit more than what they were. So we try to give them more attention in that. It's a big expense to us. We're not a publicly funded care facility, so it's our resident fees, our fundraising, and our donations that help us to keep our fees low. Right. So all the extra, personal protection equipment like that we need to purchase, the hours, the extra staff to be able to maintain the lockdown and stuff. And so it's been a bit of a
big expense. Yeah. Sure. And like I just bought some. They're sitting over there on the church table when we started reopening. I bought 100 masks for folks in case they don't bring their own and need them. $140.
Yeah,
they're not cheap.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Yeah, so you take, there's 10 of us on at any one time, and so so most of us can get away with one mask at a time. But if you're working in bathing where it's humid, you go through several masks a day. Wow. If you're working in the kitchen where it's humid, you do so. But it's initially even our there's so much fear, right, with our residents, and most of our residents are solid Christian folks. But that was one of the most difficult parts for me as the leader of the organization. It was questions like, are you doing enough to keep me safe? How do I know that you're doing enough to keep me safe? And so, quoting scripture isn't always that easy, even to that age group of people who have been Christians for 60 or 70 years, right? And it's so at the beginning it was really hard that way for everybody, and just to come in and see the fear on people's face and the not understanding. So I took the time to educate our folks on COVID-19, our residents, to say like this, you can't. They didn't want to go outside because they thought it was airborne and that kind of thing, right? So education goes a long way, and communicating the information and being upfront and honest. We would copy the daily reports and set those out for folks and let them, and then have questions, kind of things that go around, and make sure that if there's questions. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's good.
So
we're in a better place.
Very much front of mind, eh? So I mean, that's constantly. Wow. Well, hey, actually, this has been very, very good, because that's a great topic to, understanding what's it like on the inside.
So really, like we talk about how our world changes, but, even, and our church is certainly a part of doing the services out here and stuff. So we wire you in on Sundays, everything is live streamed, and the age group of folks that we have here aren't always that, they want that personal, right? And, so we have Bible studies, a person that does our Bible study, so we live stream it in so that it's at least live. It's not just. And then one of the churches here did some hymn sings for us, and so they followed our books, because they used to come here every Friday and do it. And so now they're not live; they're recording them, but we play them and folks sing along with it. So we're trying to keep people as active and as for their mental health and well-being, for sure.
So are they able to gather then in the facility in a little bit more groups, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have to social distance. So the order from the chief medical officer clearly said, no less than you couldn't have more than 10 people, and they had to social
Yeah.
distance. And so
Oh. Now this time she froze. That doesn't happen very often to me. I don't usually have them freezing. We'll have to get Janet back here in a second, but as we continue to talk about what's it like running a senior facility in the midst of this pandemic. So I'm just going to put everything on hold for a second here as I try to get Janet back. Let's see if I can get her back. Let's see. Well, this is what happens when you do it live. I'll have to edit this out later, but that was good so far. Well, maybe depending on what's going on, she might not be able to come back. So what I'll do is I'll leave. Oh, yeah, we'll see. We'll give her a couple seconds to come back. As we continue to talk about the fact that statistics are very clear now that the at-risk group are very much the older folks with other issues, perhaps even already. Of course, it's not as bad as the Spanish flu for them even, but it's still very at risk, even though it may not be a risk for the younger folks. It definitely is for the older folks, and that's where we need to take extra precautions in that regard. So we do appreciate Janet and her coming along and talking about that for us, and do be and pray for those folks, especially those administrators running assisted living facilities. That's a lot of stress. So do keep them in prayer. And